Well, hello, and welcome back once again to Infinite Jeff, the project where Jeff, who is me, I am Jeff, Jeff reads the book Infinite Jest, which is by David Foster Wallace, notable bandana enthusiast. I read it one page at a time, make a little video of it, upload it, censor. It's on a one-a-day schedule, ultimately. But sometimes I get behind, and then I get caught up, and I'm back to one a day, so. Anyway, this is page number 395 of the book Infinite Jest. Here we go. One of his own personal towels, a black one. He is slim but wiry and beautifully muscled, and sweats freely and well. He says he knows too well he neglected Lyle's advice about the pull-down station 2 years back, and regrets it. He wholeheartedly apologizes for the time last spring he got struck in Axford to distract Lyle, and then crazy glued Lyle's left buttock's spandex to the wooden top of the towel dispenser. Stice says he realizes he's the last guy with any right to come to Lyle cap in hand after all the cracks about diet and hairstyle and all. But here he is, cap in hand, or rather, culotte in hand. Culotte? Not like a culotte, like a culotte. Culotte hat. A skull cap worn by Roman Catholic priests. Oh, okay. Also known as a zucchetto. Huh. Okay. Whatever. Rather, culotte in hand, offering up his saunted planes, asking for Lyle's input. Lyle waves bygones away like a gnat you barely look at. He is completely engaged. The lightning, now far off out over the Atlantic, treats him like a weak strobe. Do not underestimate objects, he advises Stice. Do not leave objects out of account. The world, after all, which is radically old, is made up mostly of objects. Lyle leans in, waves Stice up even closer, and consents to tell Stice the story of this one man he once knew of. This man earned his living by going to various public sites where people congregated and were bored and impatient and cynical. He'd go in and bet people that he could stand up on any chair in the place and then lift that chair up off the ground while standing on it. A bootstrap type scenario. His MO is he climbs up on a chair, he stands there and he says publicly, "Hey, I can lift this chair I stand on." A bystander holds the bets. The idle bus depot or DMV waiting area or hospital lobby crowd is dumbstruck. They gaze up at a man who is standing 100% on top of a chair he has grabbed the back of and raised several meters up off the ground. There's vigorous speculation about how the trick's done, which gives rise to side bet action. A devoutly religious experimental oncologist dying of his own inoperable colorectal neoplastis moans, "Why, oh why, Lord, do you give this man this idiotic picayune power, and I no power over my own ravening colorectal cells?" There are numerous silent variations on this sort of meditation in the crowd. The bet won, the money finally forked over and handed up to him. The man Lyle says he once knew of now jumps back down to the floor, incidental change spraying from his pockets on impact, straightens his tie and walks off, leaving behind a dumbfounded crowd, still staring up at an object he had not underestimated. Section break. Like most young people genetically hardwired for a secret drug problem, Hal Incandenza also has severe compulsion issues around nicotine and sugar. Because smoking will simply kill you during drills, only Bridget Boone, a steroidic, girls 16 named Carol Spodek, and one or the other of the Vaught twins are masochistic enough to do it, though Teddy Shad has been known to enjoy the occasional panatella. The nicotine craving Hal tries to mollify as best he can by dipping Kodiak Wintergreen Smokeless. All right, that's the end of the page 396 or 395. He's going to say smokeless tobacco, which is gross. Yuck. Tried it once. Used to smoke. Smoked cigarettes for a long time. And the few times I tried chewing tobacco, it was just like, this is stupid. This is not like this. I'm not. And then there are people, especially a lot of people I work with who work inside and can't smoke cigarettes all the time, I guess. They switch to chewing dip, and I'm just like, to me, when I was ready to quit smoking, I guess it's because when I quit smoking cigarettes, which in April, in about a month, less than a month, it'll be 4 fucking years. So yay, since I've had a cigarette. Had a couple cigars since then on my buddy's birthday, but those don't count. Not as cigarettes. I definitely don't smoke cigarettes anymore. I was a handful of times, maybe 4 or 5, in those 4 years that I've wanted a cigarette. So it's pretty rare. But yeah, so I guess because when I quit, it was like I don't want to just replace it with vaping or dip or fucking whatever, the gum. Although I did use the lozenges to help me wean myself off nicotine. But the goal was to not use nicotine anymore, not replace it with something else. So, but that's because I wanted to be done with it. Now, I guess if you are nicotine, dependent enough that you can't get through a 2-hour, part of your shift without using nicotine, then I suppose just straight up replacing it with dip, chewing tobacco was an option, but I don't know, man. I thought I was a heavy smoker, but, that was, at most, I'd average a pack a day. And that was pretty fucking rare. I would say that over the period that I smoked cigarettes, it was half a pack on average. Marlboro 27s. That was my brand. It started with Jarm Blacks. Because a friend of mine smoked and I wanted to smoke too. So Jarm Blacks, didn't inhale at first, then I did inhale, and then I was like, oh, well, this is a whole new world. But then, and those are clove cigarettes. They're far too harsh to smoke regularly. If you're smoking 1 or 2 a night, that's one thing. But if you're trying to smoke every hour, which is about what I, would say that I smoked, when I did smoke, you can't smoke cloves ever. That shit's way too harsh. And you can do that shit where you smoke half. But then relighting a cigarette, it was just so gross. It just had a bad taste to it. But, when I smoked, I was broke enough that it was like, well, I'm not going to waste this cigarette. So you did it if you had to. But then I switched to Marlboro Reds because I had a friend, and she later, years later, insisted that she never smoked Marlboro Reds. And I'm like, no, I know you did, because you had me going you wanted cigarettes, you had me going to the store, and you specifically told me what to say, because I never bought regular cigarettes before. You said, go in and say Marlboro Reds in a box. So I know that's what you smoked. And then I just picked up on it. I was like, oh, okay, Marlboro Reds in a box, which, once I'd smoked for a while, I vastly superior. I preferred box of soft pack, which, soft pack is fine, I guess, if you're putting that shit in your, breast pocket or something, shirt pocket. But, if you put them in your pants pocket, like I did, it should get crushed. So, Or if you had a classy like cigarette holder or something, you're gonna transfer them to. But otherwise, box. People are like, oh, I'm sure there's a taste difference, but I don't know, man. And then I switched to Marlboro 27s because at the time, which was like 2004, they were often buy one get one free, and cigarettes were. This is about when I was working at Speedway. I would say a pack was about $5. But the buy one get one free. So how Speedway's cigarette pricing worked was that all cigarettes had a price, and it was around $7. And then it would discount it. So technically every single pack of cigarettes was $7. But then a discount was applied based on what brand it was. So, it'd be like a $2 something discount if it was basics, get them under $4. But if it was Newports, it'd be like $1 something because those were, above $5. So you get what I'm saying? So, but the buy one get ones, were just the base price. So they were $7. So you'd get 2 packs of cigarettes for $7, 2 packs of Marlboro 20s, and because I worked there, you'd have first crack at the the buy one get ones. So I'd be able to snag a fucking carton of them, So instead of paying, call it $5 at the time, which is what about when I started smoking. So instead of paying $50 for 10 cigarettes, because I never bought up my carton at a time unless they were buy one get one. You'd pay $35 so you'd pay $3.50 a pack. So you were saving money. It wasn't technically buy one; they weren't technically half price, but they were. And then they went to like $1 off and sometimes $2 off a pack. Instead of buy one get, they kind of phased out buy one get one free as I was working there and still smoking. So I just always smoked Marlboro 27s. But then it got to a point where it was like, I'm not getting enjoyment out of this. Like first of all, it's expensive, even if I'm only smoking half pack a day. So that's 7 packs every 2 weeks. So $7 a pack. It's about $50, about $25 a week. So, that's, which is about $1,300 a year that I'm spending on smokes, $25 a week. You just kind of smell like it all the time. There were people in my life that I was hiding it from, so you'd have to do that dance, which was just you feel bad about lying to people, but B, you got to maintain that lie, and it just was stupid. So now I don't have to lie about it. And if I'm going to go see, my folks, I don't have to fucking take a shower and put on fresh clothes. So that's nice. And then health. Like, it's completely bad for you. Like, wasn't doing me any good health-wise. So, yeah. I was getting a nicotine stain on my fingers, which is like old men get. Like, fuck that. Fuck that. So, anyway, I quit April 18th. 2017 was the last time I had a cigarette. So, like I said, in less than a month, it will be 4 years. So, anyway, this is going on more than 14 minutes. Have a good night. Te amo siempre.